Okay, hello. This is Alton Film Guy, and I'm here with your Steadicam SK2. This has actually been my personal rig for quite a few years, and you'll actually see links to it in the YouTube, or not the YouTube, the eBay, with some information on how to actually access some of the films and videos that I've done with the Steadicam. Now this is an actual Steadicam product. This isn't a knockoff. This is a Steadicam. So yeah, it's a real thing. It is a modified Steadicam SK2 is the model number, and it's been modified for dynamic bounce, which means that when you spin the rig, it will actually stay bounced. It will keep its horizon, its orientation, all the way around. Older rigs could not do this. But one of the advantages of the older rigs was that way back in the day, everybody had heavier camera rigs. Now, nowadays, some of you guys out there, you do have heavy camera rigs, but the Steadicams that need to carry a lot of weight, that can carry a lot of weight, are very, very, very expensive. Well, that's where I came up with the idea of taking my Steadicam SK2 and modifying it for dynamic bounce. That way I could have the best of both worlds, and that is a less expensive Steadicam rig with the ability to actually handle the heavier rigs, like your things like a larger, like say shoulder mount camera rig for like news ENG type operations, for independent film type work, all the way up to say things like full 35mm adapter rigs with larger lenses on them, and maybe even a matte box, maybe even a couple of filters. So actually, I do include the old bottom stage with this rig, which I'll show you in a little while. I don't have it here with me right now, but this is the new bottom stage, which enables dynamic balance. The old one actually had on the front of it a very large CRT, and then on the back end it had a gold mount for a very large old school battery. You know, nowadays the screens are like LCDs and such. They're very lightweight, and so are the batteries compared to the older technology. This rig back in the day said that it could support, I believe it was 19.5 pounds maximum. For those who already operate Steadicams, and also for those who don't and are trying to get into it, I will explain that you actually do want to operate your rig at maximum mass. This enables it to have the highest inertia point, and it just operates in a much better fashion. You can get just some very weird springiness to it. You know, if you're operating it at a low amount and you're loosening it up, it kind of like tends to bounce a bit. So you want to weight it down. So what I'm saying is, it used to have the giant monitor. It used to have the battery. And now this one does not have the battery with it. It does not have a monitor with it. But those both can be had very cheaply and installed very cheaply. Modern technology is amazing. what I've actually done is I purchased a series of steel plates. Here's one, and I'll actually come up close to the monitor. There's one, there's another. These metal plates, which actually weight the rig down. You will get all the plates with the rig. Basically what you can do with these plates and with just basic hardware from the hardware store is you can actually weight it down to the point where you can actually mount all the way down to a basic VDSLR rig, or to something more like what I generally use, which is a HVX200, which is what I'm filming this video with. All the way up to, you could probably do, and the original weight maximum that was stated for this rig was 19.5. Now, with further modifications and with careful planning, I'm very sure that you could probably do a red rig. I'm not promising that, but it would have to be a stripped down rig. I think with a very decent, like red, with good primes on it, a good brick, a good, like memory cards, matte box filters and all the rest, it will weight more than would a pro camera with a 35mm adapter and such. I have been able to fly my HVX200 with a 35mm adapter, a lens, minus a matte box. I haven't even tried a matte box. I just tried a basic lens hood on the front. So I'm fairly certain you could try a red. So think 19.5 pounds. If you can get your red rig down to that point, I know that you can do it. If you can get it close, I'm pretty sure that you can mess around with everything and try to get it. I'm not promising that though. So there's the bottom stage. Here is the top stage. Right now it has one of the weight plates installed, along with just some basic hardware from the hardware store, so that you can put on a camera. Here is the original bag that at least I got with the Steadicam. I got mine secondhand myself. There is a mount so that you can put this whole thing on a C-stand to mount it, and also more easily find out the dynamic bounce. Now, there are some basic pieces that came with it originally, which I'm not exactly sure what they were for, but I'm sure that they were for something back in the day. They were for like more connecting, like there's a power port on the back here, a video port on the back of it. I have already figured out that if you wire this correctly, you could upgrade it to a better video format. You wouldn't be able to power from the bottom, because basically that power port is so that you can take power from the bottom stage and bring it to the top to operate the camera. I think your best bet is to put a battery on the top, put a battery on the bottom, do it separately, and use all of these different wires, which I think there's a total of like 4 or 5 different wires that go from the top to the bottom, and you could do like, say, a YPBB PR from the top to the bottom, as long as you planned it out correctly. I will also put links to the original home-built stabilizers forum. That's a forum on the internet, which I used to get information on how I could upgrade effectively my Steadicam. It's a very decent community, and I discussed in detail some of the modifications that I wanted to do, that I did do. and those that I had planned, but yeah. So there are various connectors and such. Here's another weight plate sitting right here. Right now I have 3 of 4 installed. Here's a 4th one. They're not too expensive if you did need more weight, but I have flown a 5D Mark II on this rig, and there will be a link in the eBay to that. So here I'll just kind of show you it put together. Interface the 2 of these. And I actually have them marked. Has to be the back and the back of the unit, so there's no confusion. Now that. I don't have a C-stand at the ready, so I'm just kind of doing it. Now normally this is way up right now, but with camera weight, this would be pushed down and it would fly quite comfortably, because one, we have a counterweight, and we'd have the weight of the camera, which would have to be centralized as per all Steadicam operations that have to be done. You have to accurately find the center of gravity of your camera and place it in the center of gravity here, and then it might still need to be slightly adjusted through knobs such as this and this for fore and aft and side to side. And then we also have the ability to go forward and back with the weights here on the bottom stage. And between all of those, we would eventually get dynamic balance, which I won't go into here. But basically, eventually, you'd be able to rotate the rig so that, like right now, it is not in dynamic balance. You can see it's kind of like wobbling off to the side. To have dynamic balance, it would just rotate in a perfect circular manner. Because of this unit down here, we can dynamically balance. Now, we're going to go ahead and cut, and I'll actually put this camera, an HVX200, onto here, and you'll be able to see how it does. At least for a quick run. I'm not going to do an in-depth run. Okay, and now here's just a real quick display. I very, very quickly mounted and balanced. See, here's where we were filming from. Here's my yard and everything. This isn't actually dynamically balanced. I just kind of like did a very quick balance of the rig. So we'll just kind of like quickly move around here. I'm not even really paying attention to the monitor. I'm just kind of trying to let you have a feel for it. Not even really trying to control the rig. It would take a good Steadicam operator quite a few runs and really learning the environment, how to move around it, to really do effective work. I'm not trying to do effective work. I'm just trying to kind of show you a quick display that the rig can in fact do what it does, which is Steadicam. So, whoop, there we go. We're back to the basic shot where we started, I think. Okay, so there was me showing you the Steadicam. There's the tripod and the art over there. But yes, so here's basically what you get with this. Of course, you get a actual Steadicam bag. There is a full vest for the Steadicam. There is the arm. Now here is a nice bag to hold it in. Of course, I'll clean that off. That's just from real quick because I'm just doing this video outside, so I don't have to light it. There is the modified bottom stage. You'll also get the original bottom stage. I'll show you that in a second. There is a top that goes on top of everything once you put it in the bag. There is a C-stand mount. There is the upper stage. And of course, everything's adjustable. See, there, that's adjustable so that you can distribute more weight to the top or the bottom. Of course, the bottom stage, its weight can be moved forward or back. Okay. Oh, this is a extra weight plate. Right now I have one weight plate on the top and 2 weight plates on the bottom. Of course, you can get more made. You can put whatever hardware you want onto here to mount it. I have a couple of spacers there made of wood. You might need a couple of washers or something, whatever. Depending on your camera. Here's some extra cabling that originally came with the rig. There is also a video which shows you how to operate your Steadicam. I will include it with the entire rig. This has served me very well. Like I said, there are links in the video to me, or some of my videos. Some, maybe not all of the video that I send will actually be Steadicam, but I'll note. Like one of the videos I know it's like 10 minutes in, or about 10 minutes into some wooded footage. There's like non-stop Steadicam work, or almost. It's like 99% Steadicam work that was done with this rig with 5D Mark II. One video I'll send is the 7 Deadly Sins. It's a completely Steadicam, and that was actually early work before I really got off the ground and really knew what I was doing. So you get the bag. There's the cover on the top once you put everything in. The arm, the bag that the arm goes in, the vest, bottom stage, which is modified for dynamic bounce, top stage, extra weight plate, a little bit of cabling, C-stand mount. And that's actual Steadicam. This ain't the fake stuff, folks. This isn't some knockoff brand. These are the real cats. Really know what they're doing. And trust me, it's worked for me very well for a long time. I've been very, very satisfied with it. And it's just time for me to move on to a different rig. So I hope you enjoy it. I've definitely enjoyed it. So there is your Steadicam SK2, able of 19 plus pounds, maybe even 20 or more. But I would experiment, do your study work if you want to go much higher with, like, say, a red rig with tons of stuff on it. But I know that it can do quite a lot, and do quite a lot very effectively. And definitely more than modern rigs at this price. So there you go. Your Steadicam SK2 modified to dynamic bounce. But here, let me cut and I'll show you actually the bottom stage that I'll include with the rig. Okay, so here we go. Here is the original bottom stage, still with the monitor. I have not turned it on in a long time, so I can't guarantee its function, but the last time I turned it on, it worked. So it's a nice high contrast green monochrome monitor with Antenbauer gold mount included on there. So that's the original piece that came on a Steadicam SK2 back in those days, and all you could do was really adjust how the monitor was angled. They didn't really understand dynamic balance back then with like a modern rig like what is seen on this custom piece for the bottom stage. You can move this weight back and forth, and then the top stage can be moved forward, backwards, and left to right, so that you can, one, get an even horizon, and then two, get to where you're wanting to go. Well, actually, first you get it dynamically balanced, and you get quite right the angle that you want, and then you're able to effectively move throughout a scene without like going all wonky whenever you're like moving about. It'll keep it nice and even, but not perfectly even if you're not a practiced Steadicam user. You have to practice, take a course, look it up online, take a Steadicam course, get certified. It will be worth it. Okay, so there you go. That is your Steadicam SK2.